How's it going, everybody? Daner here with North Central Coins, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the most rare and valuable coins in Canada. Every now and then, a coin surfaces that seems almost too strange, rare, or controversial to even be real. A coin that was never supposed to exist, yet against all odds it does. One such coin is the 1970 Canadian Manitoba Gold Dollar. Unlike the standard nickel dollars that were issued to commemorate Manitoba's centennial that year, the coin was struck in gold illegally behind closed doors at the Royal Canadian Mint. With only a handful of known examples, this mysterious piece is shrouded in scandal, speculation, and even the risk of possible government seizure. Was it an inside job, a deliberate act of fraud, or something even more sinister? In today's video, we're diving deep into the story of one of the most notorious and forbidden coins in Canadian history. A piece that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, but comes with a huge catch. Additionally, we will discuss any distinguishing and identifying features, its significance among collectors, and the potential value if you happen to own, find, or buy a legitimate example. Before I do get into this, I'm getting very close to the big goal of 100,000 subscribers, and if you would like to show your support and help me continuing to make content and videos, I would really appreciate if you guys would smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and also ring that bell notification so you can stay up to date with my new content as it is being released. Also, make sure to stay to the end of the video if you'd like to find out how much this coin has sold for in some recent auctions. And then without any further ado, what do you say we get right into it and discuss the 1970 gold Manitoba dollar, a coin wrapped in intrigue, crime, and controversy. Let's get it, guys. In the year 1970, Canada issued a commemorative nickel dollar to mark the 100th anniversary of Manitoba's entry into the Canadian Confederation. It's a beautiful piece featuring an intricate design of a prairie crocus. These coins were struck in relatively large numbers for both the circulation and proof versions, and today they are reasonably common among collectors. But what if I told you that somewhere deep within the Royal Canadian Mint, a handful of these coins were secretly struck in gold? Finding any information on this coin is extremely difficult. I was not able to find any articles online or any information pertaining to how many exist, but from what I can gather, there are 6 known examples currently that exist today that are struck on gold planchettes instead of the nickel planchettes that they were intended to be struck on. However, these coins were not officially produced by the Mint. This wasn't some grand government project or a special VIP issue. Instead, the prevailing theory is that these coins were created illegally by Mint employees, possibly in an attempt to smuggle them out for personal profit. According to numismatic lore, these unauthorized gold strikes were uncovered, leading to a scandal within the Mint. Some sources even suggest that employees were caught, punished, and the remaining unauthorized coins were either seized or destroyed. But despite efforts to erase these coins from history, at least 6 managed to survive, and their existence has continued to haunt the Canadian Mint for years ever since. Now, what is the Royal Canadian Mint's official statement or position regarding these pieces? Do they consider them to be counterfeit or collectible? The Canadian Mint has a long and complicated relationship with error coins, particularly those that were never meant to be produced. Over the years, they have generally taken the stance that such pieces fall into one of 2 categories. There are error coins that were produced due to quality control issues. True mint errors, where a coin was struck incorrectly due to a mistake during the production process. These coins, although errors, are considered collectible, and the Canadian Mint does not typically interfere with their sale. Then there are counterfeits, which are unauthorized strikes. These are coins that are made improperly or under suspicious circumstances, often without approval. The Canadian Mint considers these coins to be stolen property or fraudulent and has a history of seizing them when they appear on the market. So which of these categories does the 1970 gold Manitoba dollar fit into? Since these coins were not the result of a production mistake, but rather an alleged deliberate act by Mint employees, they do not fall under the mint error category. Therefore, the Canadian Mint classifies them as counterfeits or stolen property, making them legally vulnerable to seizure. And indeed, seizures have happened. This is not just some unfounded theory, there is a long history of unauthorized Canadian coins being confiscated. Here are some notable examples. In the year 1980, a 1970 gold Manitoba dollar was seized in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the request of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. In the year 1981, a 50-cent and $1 mule air was seized at the ANA convention in Milwaukee. Another one of these same pieces was seized before a major Torex auction. In the year 1989, a Diving Goose silver dollar was seized from J&M Coin, though it was later returned to them. And around 15 to 20 Natural Legacy 25-cent coins struck in copper were seized, and a mint employee in Winnipeg was arrested. There is a legal precedent that these unauthorized coins are the property of the Canadian Mint, meaning that they can be taken at any time if you legally purchase one. Some collectors will say that certain high-value heirs are fine as long as they are openly traded in public auctions and the Canadian Mint will not interfere. However, the 1970 gold Manitoba dollar is a much different case because there are actually court orders that state that the Canadian Mint owns that coin. So if you do buy or own one, fishing it around trying to sell it publicly could actually result in its seizure. Despite the risk, these coins often fetch huge prices at auction, and for a coin that technically shouldn't exist, the 1970 gold Manitoba dollar carries an astonishing price tag. Recent auctions have seen them sell for between $10,000 and $15,000 Canadian, and it is likely the private sales go even higher. Some of the most notable sales that have occurred in the last 5 years happened on January 13th, 2020, when an MS-63 example sold at Heritage Auctions for $4,934. And almost exactly 5 years later, January 13th, 2025, that same piece was auctioned off by Heritage Auctions for an insane price of $14,688, which is a slight price reduction from 5 years prior, but considering the controversy behind this piece, it is not super surprising. The fact that PCGS has certified these coins is also incredibly interesting. Since PCGS is one of the most respected grading companies in the numismatic world, this suggests that they recognize these coins as legitimate despite the controversy surrounding them, and the situation brings up even more complexities. If a coin were seized, PCGS might have to address its involvement and liability. The Canadian Mint may have quietly allowed these coins to be legitimized to avoid legal complications. But who knows, there could be even more of these irregularities still hiding from the public eye. All of this makes the 1970 gold Manitoba dollar one of the most fascinating and mysterious Canadian coins ever produced. Now, this event took place during the 1966 to 1971 golden age of mint irregularities, a period where a surprising number of unauthorized or controversial pieces emerged from the Canadian Mint. I do want to mention that many of the most bizarre off-metal or unauthorized Canadian coins all came from this time period. Some of those pieces include, but are not limited to, a 1969 25-cent coin that was struck on a Prussian 20-mark gold planchette. There are actually multiple coins and denominations that were struck in the wrong metals throughout those years. The infamous 1967 Diving Goose silver dollar with a rotated die air was produced during this period. Now, why is it that so many of these strange and unusual coins came into existence during this time? Some believe that security was incredibly lax at the mint during this time period, allowing employees to experiment and smuggle out items or even create their own rarities. Others speculate that certain insider coin dealers had direct access to mint employees and may have arranged for some of these irregularities to be created. One thing is for sure, and that is that this era produced some of the most fascinating, controversial, and valuable Canadian coins that have ever been made. The 1970 Canadian Manitoba Gold Dollar is more than just a coin. It's an incredibly rare and valuable piece, but comes with an inherent risk that few collectors are willing to take. Would you be brave enough to own one of these, or would you fear it being seized at any moment? Or would you keep it locked away, whispering about it to only your most trusted collector friends? One thing is for sure, this coin will continue to be one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in Canadian numismatics. What do you guys think about these 1970 gold Manitoba dollars? Would you like to own one of these, or have you ever known anyone that does? Do you think that this is a coin collector's dream or nightmare? Please let me know down in the comments. Also, I would really appreciate if you guys would smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and also ring that bell notification so you can stay up to date with my new content as it is being released. But I think that is pretty much going to do it for this one, folks. So until the next one, everybody, peace out and have a good one, y'all.